Howdy, y'all. Welcome back. It's time to take a time out. Chill out, relax, take a little coffee break, if you will. Practice the gift of gab. Today, I have something that I've been thinking about I want to share with you that has some relation to what it's like to go and experience the holiday season to its fullest. And it always comes to the very beginning of the season when people start asking you questions. Like, what do you want for Christmas? And I realized, and this is what I've been thinking about this week, is that oftentimes when people ask me that question, whether it be Christmas or birthdays or some special event where, they want to celebrate you or give something to you that you might be interested in and like or want, is that they ask you what you want. And I usually don't have an answer. And what's been on my mind about that is that I realized that, for me anyway, that can come across as wishy-washy and as an indecisive personality. And really, it's not about that for me, but I see that it can be interpreted that way. And I've been thinking about that specifically. I even wrote some notes about it so I don't forget to tell you something that was on my mind as I was thinking about it, because it plays a part in how we communicate and how we relate to one another. If we don't, if we're not able to answer the question sometimes. And what I mean about that is, and I want to share this story with you, is I remember, I'm not usually generally a predictable type of person, but at the same time, I kind of am, especially this year in 2020. I will be more predictable because I just want to make sure that I'm doing all the right things and making better choices to be as safe as I possibly can, not just for myself, but for other people that I'm around and have some responsibility or obligation to. So, in that way, yeah, I can be predictable. And if you like something, you have a preference for something, that can come across as being very predictable too. But I remember an incident that sort of relates to this idea of being indecisive or wishy washy appearing, and that is someone I used to know. I remember this incident very clearly. We were going to go out and have a meal one night, and I was in the passenger seat of my friend's truck. They were driving, and they knew me. They knew that I was a vegetarian. So they were asking me the question, where do you want to eat? Okay, you see where I'm going with this? Very similar to what do you want for Christmas, but where do you want to go to eat? So this can happen anytime, not just the holiday season, but they asked that question, and I think I probably said, oh, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I'll find something to eat. I usually do. I just didn't have a preference or anything in mind that was special or that I thought that's where I want to go. So, in my mind's eye, I was just being accommodating and flexible. You know, I'm willing to compromise. We're just going out to dinner. Well, they got upset. They were beating on the steering wheel, slamming on the brakes real hard. It really kind of got dangerous and a little bit violent and a little scary, needless to say. But all because I said it doesn't matter to me. I didn't care. I'm willing to eat anywhere. I'll find something, that I can eat. And that was just asking the question, where do you want to go eat? Where do you want to go to dinner? But I guess to this person who wanted to make sure that I was able to find something on the menu, I guess they took it too seriously and too much to heart because they were just getting all up in arms about it. And to them, it may have seemed like I wasn't coming up with an answer because I was wishy-washy and I didn't have the ability to make that decision. I was being indecisive, but that wasn't the case at all. I was just being flexible and easygoing and going with the flow, you know? That's what I'm talking about here with this question about what do you want for Christmas and where do you want to go to dinner and what do you want for your birthday? I didn't have any answers for that. And so I I didn't see a problem with it, but I remember that situation very clearly because it got out of hand, is what I'm saying. And I'm looking at my notes because I don't want to forget some part of it that I really wanted to share with you about the story. But if I say I don't know, it's 9 times out of 10, it's because I don't know or I hadn't really thought about it, you know? And I have to stop and think a minute. So if it's really important, I'm going to stop. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to compare my options and think, this is what I want. And and part of the story about asking what I want for Christmas this year is that I realized, because sometimes I don't know, and I say I don't know because I never really thought about it, or I'm being put on the spot. That's the deal, being put on the spot to answer a question right here, right now, when you haven't really thought about it. So you just say, I don't know. But the truth is that there are things that I would like. And so I realized that this year already. And a few weeks ago, I said, you know what? There are some things I might like as a gift. If someone's going to ask me this year, which nobody has, by the way, which is fine, I'm going to have a little bit of a list ready. See, now I'm thinking about it. I have time to think about it and really assess what it is that I personally really would like to have. Then I can tell you what I want for Christmas or my birthday or what have you, right? I can tell you, hey, no, I don't want to go there for dinner. I'd rather go over here for dinner. I just have to think about it a moment. I'm not just going to always just spontaneously come up with an answer. And I think that's my point about coming across as being indecisive and wishy-washy when people ask you questions like that. You don't want to be put on the spot, and you want to feel like you've had a moment to say, oh, I can consider this. Let me take that moment, okay? And if you don't have that moment, then the only answer that comes out of my mouth is, I don't know, because I hadn't thought about it. It didn't cross my mind. But this year is a little different, okay? I have thought about it. I put together a list of things when I started thinking about it that I was interested in. Really, items, material things. Whether I get them or not doesn't matter to me in reality. I mean, it's nice to be asked, but this time I have an answer, things that I was interested in. So I started a list. And I wrote down a few things as I was, doing my own research on things that I would be interested in for this or that. And then I realized those could be Christmas list items. So I wrote them down. And I am now prepared to answer that question. I'm not indecisive. I'm not being wishy-washy. I just needed time to think about it and not be put on the spot. And I wondered if other people feel that way too. And that's what I've been thinking about this week. As we gear up for Christmas and we start thinking about shopping, and they're having all these cyber sales and Black Friday sales and what have you, I now have ideas, and it's just because I took a moment to say, stop, Alan, think about this. And oh, this fits this question. And if somebody asks me, I can answer it now. So, I don't want to be put in a position where people would be thinking that I'm unpredictable, indecisive, wishy-washy, just because they asked me a question that I wasn't prepared to answer. And I think that's just true in all kinds of areas of life, not just when people ask you what you want for Christmas or your birthday or where you want to go to dinner tonight. But it shouldn't turn into a dangerous screaming, yelling match, competition, confrontation of sorts, just because I didn't have a preference at that moment in time. You know what I'm saying? So those were some thoughts that came to mind as I was remembering that generally growing up and throughout the years, I have typically said, I don't know, when people ask me questions about what I want for, a gift. And I started realizing that all these things are sort of interwoven, interconnected, that I have these experiences more often than not because, I don't really think about it. I am kind of the type of person who likes to go with the flow a little bit. I mean, I like to prepare, I like to plan, I like to, find things I like to do, but I don't always think of them well enough in advance to answer a question on the spot, and feel like, I'm kind of backed in a corner. And if you don't have an answer, what else is there to say then? Well, I don't know. So I wonder what you think about that. Is that indecisive? Is that being wishy-washy? Is that me kind of focused on being predictable or unpredictable? I don't think so. But those are my thoughts that I wanted to share today on the coffee break. So if you can relate to that, please let me know in the comment boxes below. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video, and don't forget to hit the subscribe and the notification bell so you can be a part of the conversation from here on out. Share the link if you're so inclined, and come back and see me again. I'm sure I'll have some more stories to tell from my childhood or from experiences that I have had or observations that I am coming across, and or just thoughts and ideas that I just want to sort of put out there and share and, explore. So if you want to be a part of that, let me know. Until then, have a good day. See you next time. Bye-bye.